What's up, guys? So, we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm just going to get right to it. First, I just want to see anything in my teeth. No, I just ate, so it'd be just weird if there was something just coming out of my tooth, like fa-ching. You guys looking at that, and I don't know if there was just like some type of like poppy seed in there or something that would just be kind of an eyesore. So, looks like we're squared away there, though. And if you watched vlog number 23, you know that we kind of finished off. I was going off on a tangent. I was talking about, man, 2015 and 2016, there were so many just crazy stories that you, in your wildest imagination, you really couldn't think of them ever happening. If you would have told me 4 years ago that Donald Trump would have run for president in 2016, I would have called you mad. I would have thought you were insane. And so we talked about that a little bit, and I touched on Hulk Hogan, the Hulk Hogan thing. Me growing up as a child of the 80s, he was a paragon of virtue, as I think I mentioned in vlog number 23. The guy, anybody that watched wrestling in the 80s looked up to the guy in yellow and red. And for him to be in a sex tape scandal and to be spewing racist words, and even though he wasn't aware that he was being recorded, and for it, the whole thing to be sold to Gawker.com and to become a big scandal, again, of all the people to be called in a sex scandal, Hulk Hogan was the last guy I would ever think to be in something like that. And then the Subway spokesperson, Jared, to be a guy that, for all intents and purposes, was a role model for those who are overweight, who struggle with obesity, to have this second life of pedophilia and to have a kitty fetish, and for that whole thing to unravel. Again, another crazy story. And then to top it off, I didn't remember what the fourth one was. I knew there was a fourth one. It just didn't enter into my brain at that moment, but I do remember it now. The Bill Cosby scandal. For anybody that knows, Bill Cosby in the 70s and 80s was America's father figure. He represented, he symbolized the patriarchy, the family man, not just for African Americans, but for everybody. I mean, this guy, he represented family for everyone. So for him to be in another scandal involving him, drugging women's drinks in order to have his way with them, and in some cases quite possibly rape them. It's just, the stories of 2015 and 2016 have been mind-boggling. And so that kind of wraps up what we were talking about. I don't think there's any other stories that really were as crazy as those, though. But who knows? There's still plenty more to go, plenty of time left in 2016. So I was going to talk about having a good cry, and something that we all need to have. There's nothing wrong with having a good cry. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I'm going to put that on hold because something crazy just happened on Conor McGregor, who is a UFC fighter. He fights at the featherweight division. He's moved up to lightweight, and actually he's moved up to welterweight. So he fights at that 170 pound. The bottom line is that there is no bigger star than Conor McGregor. Ronda Rousey and him are neck and neck, but really at the end of the day, no one brings in pay-per-views like Conor McGregor. He is the be-all, end-all right now. He's the alpha and the omega of UFC fighters. And he just sent out a cryptic tweet today that he was retiring young. Very open-ended. Now, if he said he was retiring, I think that there might be. He just said retiring young. And that to me is vague and it's cryptic and it can mean a lot of things. He's 27 years old. Does he mean he could retire when he's 30? Because if he meant 30, he's got another 3 years left. This is a guy whose best years are ahead of him. So who knows what he's thinking? And, in this day and age of Twitter, and social media, we'll see what happens. But talk about a bombshell in the world of MMA. It's crazy, just crazy that to think that this guy there is nobody who makes more money than Conor McGregor, to just retire. I don't want to say that he's at the top of his game, though. He's not at the top of the mountain. There's better fighters out there. I don't think there's anybody that promotes him or herself better than Conor McGregor. But I think this guy's best days are ahead of him. So it's going to be interesting to see what his rationale was behind the tweet. And does he mean, is it the sort of thing like a Floyd Mayweather thing? I mean, how many times did Floyd Mayweather retire? Like 8, 9 times? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this whole bombshell announcement by McGregor, the notorious one, who's got probably the best nickname in all of MMA, Notorious. So it's interesting. So we'll see what happens at maybe UFC 200, which is going to be in July 9th. I mean, is this guy going to have a comeback fight? I mean, is it one of those, yeah, I retired for 2 months. Okay, I'm back. Kind of like a little bit of a prank on everybody. We don't really know at this point. I know that guys like Ariel Helwani and the Fighter and the Kid. Who's that guy that does the Fighter and the Kid? Brandon Schaub, and I forgot who the kid was, but in that podcast. But I'm sure everybody will be clamoring to try to get an interview with this guy, because right now that's the biggest story in sports right now. Yeah, I get it that the Golden State Warriors are about to take a big crap on every other team in the NBA. And at this stage right now, I'll be honest, sorry guys, don't give a crap about anything in baseball. My attention is squarely on the next words that are coming out of Conor McGregor's mouth. It's going to be interesting to see. So that's all I have to talk about that. When has that ever even happened? When has a guy, when he's making the most money, anybody in the sport, I think maybe Michael Jordan back in '94 when his father was killed, and MJ decided to retire and give it a shot at baseball. He tried out for the Chicago White Sox, and he played for their minor league team. That's the only time I could really think of a time when there was someone that was just at the top of, if not the top of his game, at the top of his money-making game, to retire like that. So that whole MJ thing back in the 90s, man, he took a lot of heat about that later on in his career. Like, you know what? I salute Michael Jordan for retiring when he did. To have what happened to him and his family like that, to put sports aside and to try out a new goal, to blaze a new trail, phenomenal. That's why he is the greatest, in my opinion. And we can debate whether LeBron or Kobe or anybody else for that matter that you think might be better than MJ. If I had to guess, I would say maybe him and LeBron are the closest right now. But if Steph Curry keeps up this dog and pony show, man, we'll be talking about Steph Curry as the greatest of all time in a couple of years. So, all right, enough talk about sports. I wanted to talk about having a good cry before we go. Because there's a comedian, Louis C.K., very funny guy, kind of a, if you don't know who he is, very dark humorist, very dark comedian, I think. But he keeps it real, and I think that's why he has stood the test of time and why he's so popular. The guy just keeps it real. Every time he goes up there, he doesn't try to be something he's not. And even if you're not crazy about his comedy, I mean, you have to respect that on some level. So he was talking on the Conan O'Brien show one time about how it's good to he was listening to Bruce Springsteen's Jungle Land on the car radio, and he just, in the middle of the song, he just like had a moment where he just broke down and just started crying. Just crying. And there's nothing wrong with that. And he was saying like it was actually a good thing for him. Maybe it was cathartic, I don't know. But he said he needed a good cry. And I know a lot of guys, like we think, oh, guys don't cry or whatever. Bullshit. Everybody cries. It's a matter of what you're crying about. That could or might not be embarrassing. But I actually had a similar situation like that not too long ago. I was listening to a song in the car. Simon and Garfunkel's The Boxer. And I'm listening to this song. If you haven't heard this song, you got to go check it out. YouTube it. Do whatever you got to do. iTunes. But everybody has heard this song at one time or another. If you haven't, you should. But man, the lyrics to this song, I'm listening to this song, and I haven't heard this song in so long. And I'm driving, and all of a sudden I notice I kind of get a little bit of a lump in my throat. And Simon and Garfunkel keep croning, and before I know it, I've got a tear coming down my cheek. 2 minutes and 54 seconds into this song, I've got snot coming down my nose. I am bawling. I mean, the tears are just, I don't know why there's something about this song that's so haunting, it's so gritty and it's so real and visceral. And I started crying like a little bitch. Hold that thought. I got UPS here. Let's see who's here.
I know.
You want to be on my vlog?
What's up, bud?
You want to be on my vlog? I'm doing a vlog right now.
How are you doing? What should I say?
You don't say it. Thanks, dude.
I got you, man. Thank you so much.
It's always nice to have a cameo from somebody from UPS. We do this live. We're doing it live. Anything could happen on the Matt Frazier vlog experience. So, anyway, hit me up. Let me know if there's any songs that just get you right here. This is my chestal heart plate here. Shoot me an email. What's a song that just gets you? That just, strikes a chord with you and gets the waterworks working. That just hits you hard. I'll try not to cry by the end of this vlog, but I am going to bid you guys adieu because I have to do some other stuff, and I will talk to you later. We'll continue talking about Conor McGregor and all sorts of interesting little tidbits, anecdotal things, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You know where to find me. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.